When this thing was advertised in spring of 2023, you were in either of two camps. The I hate it camp or the oh my God, I'm gonna be one of the first to pre-order it as soon as it's available for pre-order. Full transparency here, I was on the I'm not crazy about this thing, so I'm not in a desperate hurry to buy it camp. And if you ask anybody else in our audience, they will agree and say, yeah, he was not too crazy about that thing. Fast forward to spring of 2024, and I attended this comic convention called MegaCon in Florida. It's one of two of the largest comic conventions in the States. And of course, Dart Zone had a display booth there. They had their classic inflatable shooting range with an entire array of blasters on display, and including those blasters was the Mark IV. This would be my first opportunity to have it not only in my hands, but shoot it, see how it performed, see how I personally connected with it, if I connected with it at all, see how I liked it. This MegaCon event did take place on the first week of February, which was my birthday week. After some combos there, Derek, one of the Dart Zone reps, shout out to you. He just threw me a box and said happy birthday. So thank you, Derek. I appreciate the gift. This gives me an opportunity to also review it and add it to my high competition blasters. And I have to say, I did experience a little bit of a 180, more like a 90 degree. I was still not over the top convinced on this thing, but I have to say, I was ergonomically sucked into it. This blaster, despite its sheer magnitude of dimensions, is very ergonomic. For my hands, the grip was perfect. It no longer suffered from that wraparound slidey grip that the 1.2 had. The stock was in the perfect location for my line of sights. Of course, I did a few things to customize it, as I did with a lot of blasters that I've reviewed in this channel that you guys have seen. My favorite Talon Claw grip is now on this blaster. I also included my own 6-line P-car, adds a little bit more spin. The flutes are a little bit closer together. I've achieved better accuracy with all my blasters across the board with this design. I have a lot of shells available for this type of design. If you guys are interested in any of these P-cars, which will slap on, I'm designing them for most pump action blasters across the board. Just hit me up on Instagram or send me an email in our About Me section and I'll hook you up with the Etsy link, or you can just go to the description of this video. I thought that was a nice touch. Gives it a little bit more of that CQB sniper aesthetic that I like. While I was there, I was able to pop some shots. Me and Ms. Notnuff, we put a couple videos out. We just plinked at the booth, and honestly, I really enjoyed it. The included scar barrel that this blaster has, which is still serviceable, even though I have mine up front, is a very cool 4-line P-car. It does what it's supposed to do, and it's always on your blaster. In my case, it's a backup because I'm already running one in the front. It's great. The blaster has a lot of features that I'm pretty sure a lot of these other creators might have covered for the review on this blaster. The window with the prime indicator, all that jazz, a lot of metal, gives the blaster a nice little weighty feel, even though it still retains a little bit of that off-the-shelf plastic feel, creaking that you tend to get with toy grade blasters, but it's normal. Dart Zone is one of the few companies out there putting high FPS, high performance blasters in the hands of the retail investor that walks into a Walmart or a Target. So you have to commend them for that. Not a lot of companies that are doing that. Although there are a few that are starting to take notice, siren, and popping out with their own designs. It's good to have competition. It breeds better quality and better creativity in products. I will always say that. Instead of providing more of a review, since that already was covered a year ago, this is more of how are we doing a year later on the Mark IV? What are my impressions after finally playing with it, finally putting it in my hands, taking it to the backyard, shooting at different distances with different darts with the supercharged muzzle, which I have a surprise on that piece, by the way. Overall, what are my experiences and takeaways after actually having it in my hands and playing with it? So without further ado, I'm just gonna take you through a little personal test that I did in my backyard, like a plinking accuracy test with both muzzles, an FPS test with both muzzles, and then my lasting impressions. Let's get to it, guys. All right, guys, we're gonna do a basic plinking test because circular targets are boring. So we're gonna shoot my X-Shot cans on my self-resetting target. Right here, we're just gonna start out with my 6-line P-car. Supposedly this blaster gets about 180, give or take, because this is a different P-car than the stock one. We just wanna see if we can hit these cans. I'm about 30 feet away from them now. I have one mag I wanna shoot with this P-car, and then we're gonna use one mag with my modified integrated P-car supercharger muzzle. Let's get it. Two more. Keep hitting so low. I have to like really invert the sights here. All right, that was it for the standard P car. Now we're gonna throw on the integrated muzzle. This left a lot to be desired. Let's see what we can get with that other piece. All right, guys, so as you know, this is no longer the original FPS booster. It doesn't just have that straight 180 millimeters of barrel any longer. It instead has 5 5/8 of aluminum barrel. The remaining 100 millimeters or so is a 6-line integrated P car inside here. I don't know if you could see it too well. Basically barrels here, which is actually the Mark 1.2's entire barrel. I pointed out in the previous video how that barrel is just very short. Let's see if we can hit these targets any better than we did on that last session. Whew, that's a long one. Okay. All right. Okay, some kind of improvement there. Hit, but not a collapse. There we go. All right. Ooh, nipped it. Let me see. I got 3 shots left. Let me see if I can hit it. Oh, right over on the top. Oh man, just to the left. Oh, almost had it. Well, there you go. I think there's a slight improvement with this on, but ultimately taking this to a competition is what's really going to tell us how it can do. Ow! It's kind of hard to determine what's causing such a drastic slowdown when we put this muzzle piece on, but it's safe to say that the additional barrel area plus what's otherwise pretty long section of P-car is probably doing that. But I have to say, I saw that a lot of people, even with the full 180 millimeter aluminum barrel section, were also experiencing a huge slowdown in FPS. So rather than boost the FPS, if anything, this makes the factory spring struggle a little bit more. I don't know if mine's an outlier because I see a lot of people having mixed results with these. Also, I was using the worker darts, which are considerably heavier than the Bamboo 2.0s, which came with the unit, and I did not test with those because I like to rigorously put everything through the same test. All right, guys, so in all honesty, I have to admit, my feelings are a little bit mixed. Kind of getting some flashbacks to the Razor that I reviewed a couple of weeks ago, where there's just a lot of barrel here and just not enough spring. I'm very confident that this blaster can achieve not only the muzzle velocities, but also the accuracy that it proposes in the package, but it needs more horsepower on the rear end, like I like to say. It needs a little bit of a heavier spring. I'd say this is probably like a 1.2 or a 1.4 by 350. It is a 350 millimeter spring, so that might be a little bit hard to procure if you like to go out and get your own hardware. I've been out searching the market, so as soon as I know something, I'll let you guys know, but I'm currently aiming for like a 1.6, maybe a 1.8. That might be a little too thick. 2.0 is out of the question, but I think 1.6 will be like the sweet spot. And if I can't get a 350, might have to go for a distance coil 400 or an elongated coil 300. We'll see if we can meet you in the middle with whatever I come up with. I'll keep you guys posted on whatever spring I do replace with this. I have to admit, it's very comfortable, very nice to shoot with. I did take it with me this weekend to a local competition. Shout outs to Town Club, my fellow local Fort Myers Nerf Club, which I was so happy to meet those guys and find something so close to me. Those guys invited me this weekend and we had an opportunity to shoot this thing and see how it did. Didn't do too bad, but like I said, it does need a little bit of TLC to reach that intended purpose that this package proposes. Other than that, I have to say, at the price that I got it, which was free $99, I definitely recommend it. It's about $129 now, a lot cheaper than it was, down from the $180 it was at launch. I'd still say wait till it's about $100. I think $100 is a sweet spot for something that you still need to put some time and equipment into. Maybe $80. I know Dart Zone's gonna have a good sale. They have them all the time. They have new lines coming out, which will eventually replace the yesteryear products. So look out for those sales, guys. This is a good pickup at discount so that you can then invest, make it your own, put muzzles like I did, play around and be creative with that front muzzle piece. You could put any kind of integrated B car or P car like I did. You can go places with this. You just have to put a little bit of time in it. Otherwise, a very attractive package. I really like the modern, almost pseudo future kind of design, kind of like a Halo or a near futuristic package here. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 or Advanced Warfare, if you will, something along those lines. The sights are a little much. This is kind of like that grenade sight that came with the Nexus Pro. It's very telling about how this blaster has to be arched just a little bit. As you can see, even at 30 feet in my backyard, I had to kind of cant that barrel upwards a little bit, even with these sights collapsed, to get those darts to hit the target. The darts come at an angle downwards. I don't know if that's just a characteristic of this particular muzzle, but they were coming a little bit downward right out of the muzzle, had a little hop up, and then they ultimately succumb to gravity. But there you go, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. If you like this video, you're definitely gonna like this one. I'll catch you on the next one. Stay blasting, foam fam.